Thank you, Alexandra. Let me now turn it over to Lillie. Lillie?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you listening to me for these next couple minutes. It was such an honor being asked to speak to you today. My name is Lillie Heigl, and this summer I'm the Eileen Sweeney Graduate Intern in Disability Policy. I'm working at the Social Security Advisory Board, and in just a few weeks, I will be entering my third and final year of law school and my master's in public administration at Syracuse University, where I'm studying disability law and public policy. Disability has become a large part of my academic pursuits. I have taken courses in disability law and participated as a student attorney in Syracuse's Disability Rights Clinic. However, this is an issue that is very personal to me. My essay talked about two women who have shaped my life and the way I perceive social insurance when it comes to people with disabilities. The first is my younger sister, Anne Catherine, who has Down syndrome. I assumed a large role in her caregiving from a young age, and this culminated when I was 21 and I became her legal guardian. My sister wants to be a teacher, she wants to get married, and she wants to live independently from our family. The second woman I introduced is my dear friend, Maddie. Maddie and I met when I worked for a semester as her personal care attendant. She's an award-winning journalist. She has written for Teen Vogue and has a podcast about her disability, shamelessly plugging The Obvious Question. Look it up. Maddie has a rare form of spinal muscular atrophy, and my job for her was to assist in toileting, bathing, changing clothing, etc. Maddie dreams of moving to New York City to work full-time as a journalist. In my coursework, I learned that Congress's primary goal in passing the Americans with Disabilities Act was to help move people with disabilities into the labor market. My essay discusses from a personal lens how SSI's income cap is inhibiting this goal by discouraging people with disabilities from being employed. For example, Maddie cannot afford her medical care on a personal salary alone. She needs Medicaid and SSI. This means that in order to get the care she needs, she cannot pursue full-time employment as a journalist because it will cost her her benefits. Maddie wants to get married someday, not unlike other 23-year-old peers, but she knows that marriage is something she probably can't have because it could cost her her SSI and Medicaid. My sister is going to be a senior at George Mason's Mason Life Program, a higher education program for persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities. As I mentioned before, she wants to be a teacher. For the last several years, she has interned with various schools and daycares, and this past semester, before COVID ravaged the country, she was working on Capitol Hill in DC for a few members of Congress. My family is not from DC, but for Anne Catherine to pursue her higher education, that's where she moved. She dreams of staying there after college and living independently from my family. Now, I'm sure everyone here knows or would not be shocked to hear that DC's housing is pretty pricey. DC is a stretch on a teacher's salary regardless, but she cannot work a full 40 hours without going over her SSI and Medicaid income cap. That begs the question, what is she supposed to do with the other 30 hours of the work week? She needs SSI and Medicaid to live independently, but those very things also restrict her quality of life by keeping her from the meaningful employment that she yearns for. Mr. Dion's essay highlights the noble origins of social insurance and how it's a way for government to provide support for vulnerable populations, though Alexandra pointed out that these populations were also often exclusive and did not include lots of different groups of people. As time has gone on, we need to ask ourselves if those goals are truly being met. Today, I want you to consider this. How can social insurance provide a safety net and care for people with disabilities like my sister or Maddie and help them not just survive, but live a quality life? And when I say quality life, I mean meaningful employment. Many people with disabilities are still being paid the sub-minimum wage and are in sheltered workshops. The unemployment rate for people with disabilities is consistently above 65%, and those employed are often not employed in something that they want to be doing. Take a moment and think when the last time was that you interacted with an employee who has Down syndrome. My bet is they were a bag person at a grocery store or folding clothes at Goodwill, but these should not be the only employment options for my sister. Meaningful employment means if she wants to work with children in a daycare, she should be able to do so with the right training and supports. A quality life means being able to get married if you want without worrying that it will cost you your health care. I'm not married now, but I know that if I meet the right partner, that's something that I can do without worrying that I'll be able to afford the things that I need. I want us to consider how we can reframe or restructure social insurance to support a quality and meaningful life for people with disabilities, one of society's most vulnerable populations. Through several internships, domestic and abroad, including through the Academy this summer, I've learned about how social insurance impacts the lives of people with disabilities in so many ways. It affects where they live, their health care, their education, their independence, their right to marry, the right to employment, and more. I'm still not sure what the future looks like for me. I'm still focused on the looming bar exam. However, I know that if I work in an area of disability such as education or employment, those are not separate from social insurance. Social insurance permeates all of these other areas, and in the fight for disability rights, social insurance has the capacity to advance equality for people with disabilities, rather than being one of the things that is holding them back like it is at the moment. I'm reminded of the saying that we see farther when standing on the shoulders of giants. I want to thank the giants in this room who have worked in social insurance, advocating for vulnerable populations. The work you have done allows us to see farther and work for a more equitable future. It has been an honor and a privilege to work for the Social Security Advisory Board this summer, and I thank the Academy for this opportunity. I'm confident that the other interns and I are seeing farther because of the giants' shoulders we are standing on. Thank you.